By the summer of 1943, the world had been at war for nearly 4 years. Across Europe, Nazi Germany still held vast territories. France was occupied. Eastern Europe burned under the weight of the Eastern Front. And yet, the Allies, battered, cautious, and divided, faced a single urgent question: where do we strike next? The answer would lead them south, across the Mediterranean, to the ancient land of Italy, a land of mountains and rivers, a land of narrow roads and fortified hills, a land that Adolf Hitler believed could be held at any cost. This is the story of the invasion of Italy. This is the story of Operation Craftsman. And this is how the Allies tried to break Hitler's grip on Europe. In May 1943, Allied forces stood victorious in North Africa. Over 250,000 Axis soldiers had surrendered in Tunisia, a defeat so devastating that German commanders compared it to Stalingrad. For the first time, the Allies had momentum, but momentum alone did not decide wars. In Washington and London, war planners argued fiercely. The Americans wanted a direct invasion of France, a cross-channel assault that would strike at the heart of Nazi Germany. The British, haunted by the bloodbath of World War I, were cautious. Winston Churchill proposed a different approach. Italy, he argued, was the soft underbelly of Europe. If Italy fell, Germany would be forced to divert troops. The Mediterranean would open fully to Allied shipping, and perhaps, just perhaps, the Axis alliance itself would crack. Thus began the planning for a bold new campaign. Operation Craftsman was not a single battle. It was a strategic planning operation, a British code name used in the development and coordination of the Salerno landings, part of the broader Italian invasion. Craftsman focused on coordinating British and American forces, deception operations to mislead German intelligence, logistical planning for amphibious assaults, and managing the political consequences of invading Italy. It worked alongside other operations: Operation Husky, the invasion of Sicily; Operation Avalanche, the Salerno landings; Operation Baytown and Slapstick. Together, they formed the opening act of the Italian campaign. Before Allied troops ever landed on mainland Italy, something extraordinary happened. Italy collapsed from within. In July 1943, after the Allied invasion of Sicily, the Italian Grand Council turned against their dictator. Benito Mussolini was arrested. For 20 years, he had ruled Italy with iron certainty. Now he was gone. Italy secretly began negotiating with the Allies, but Hitler was not fooled. German forces rushed south, occupying key positions across Italy. Defensive lines were prepared in the mountains. When Italy officially surrendered in September 1943, Germany immediately took control of the country. The invasion would not be easy. September 9, 1943. Under the cover of darkness, Allied landing craft moved toward the beaches near Salerno, south of Naples. American and British troops prepared for combat. There would be no preliminary naval bombardment. Surprise, commanders hoped, would compensate. It did not. As ramps dropped, German machine guns opened fire. The beaches erupted into chaos. Men fell before reaching dry land. Tanks sank into sand. Communications broke down. For days, the invasion hung by a thread. German counterattacks nearly pushed the Allies back into the sea. Only massive naval gunfire, battleships firing point-blank into German positions, saved the beachhead. Operation Craftsman's planning was tested to its limits. Italy was not France. It was a defender's nightmare for attackers. Narrow valleys, steep ridges, rivers that became killing zones. German engineers turned every hill into a fortress. The Allies advanced slowly. Every mile was paid for in blood. At Monte Cassino, an ancient monastery became the center of one of the longest and most brutal battles of the war. Bombed into ruins, it still resisted capture for months. The soft underbelly proved anything but soft. Despite the slow progress, the Italian campaign achieved critical goals. Germany was forced to deploy over 20 divisions to Italy, divisions that could not fight in France or the Soviet Union. Airfields in Italy allowed Allied bombers to strike southern Germany. The Mediterranean became an Allied highway. Most importantly, the invasion taught the Allies hard lessons they would use in Normandy. Logistics, coordination, amphibious warfare. Italy was the rehearsal, paid for in lives. Italian civilians suffered immensely. Cities were bombed, villages destroyed, families displaced. Soldiers endured freezing winters in the mountains and scorching summers in the valleys. By the end of the campaign, over 300,000 Allied casualties, hundreds of thousands of Axis casualties, countless civilian deaths. Victory came slowly, painfully. In June 1944, Allied forces finally entered Rome, but the war in Italy did not end. Fighting continued in the north until May 1945, almost the very end of the war in Europe. Italy became a forgotten front, overshadowed by D-Day. Yet without Italy, D-Day might never have succeeded. Operation Craftsman and the invasion of Italy were not glorious. They were not fast. They were not clean, but they were necessary. They drained German strength. They broke the Axis alliance, and they paved the road to liberation. History often remembers the battles that ended wars, but wars are won long before the final blow. Sometimes on beaches far from the spotlight, sometimes in the mountains of Italy.